No, I wanted to do like I usually have pretty lengthy intros um before we get into the race. All right. Where else? Nope, wrong one. Now then, wrong one. Alrighty. Okay. Hopefully they should be coming over from Zach the One's channel here shortly. Either to yours or to mine. Whichever floats their boat. Alrighty, who's out there right now in the chat? Getting just about ready. Alrighty, we're gonna get. Got. Oh, hey! TBR! What's up, dude? Nice to have you here in the chat, man. Yes, you're not. Well, this. Yes, this is. Ugh. Blah. You even? Well, I know you're probably in one of the teams in here, or even are you really done right now? What team are you? Oh yeah, you're in the. Oh yeah, you're in the esports. You're in P2. There we go. I don't know how many of these teams are still here. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna find. Gonna bring in. Like the one, there he be. Apparently I can't add him. What the? Ah! Waiting patiently on an invite from Critical. Yes, the title is what it is. The final Twitch stream for me, because I am moving to YouTube. That doesn't mean we can't have some fun here tonight. I do got Insane Leader with me in the party, as you can probably tell, but I honestly don't know if he's there or not, or if he's... Well, obviously he's been having problems, so he might be here. Who knows? Me and him are doing, obviously, IESC / SRL, the Petit Le Mans, the 10-hour race. And then we got AGRL, All-Star race. And then, at least for me, just me, soloing for the MSRA late models. That is the schedule here for tonight. And I choose to do this on my main account. Because, well, why the fuck not? So, what else is out there aside from probably TVR? I need to look here. Oh, 3 viewers now. We now got 3 viewers up in here. Oh yeah, it says right up there. Hello to the 3 viewers. You must be coming over from the other channel. You're coming from Zach's channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice to have y'all here. Alright, nice having you in here, TVR. We should be getting an invite here soon, provided okay. Critical, get an invite from Critical here soon. Shortly. I hope Critical knows he is the host. I hope Critical doesn't forget about us. Waiting on an invite. Waiting on a gosh darn invite. I'm gonna those were new. Yeah, much more presentable now. I'll get those later. Oh, God. Waiting. Alright, come on, we're waiting on the invite. Oh. Oh. Oh, welcome back. There we go, finally. Yeah, I just did. I got an invite. Alright, good to know. Everybody watching. To everybody watching. Insane Leader's about to start his. Get the timer set. Whippy timer. There we go. We got my thing set up for time at least. Hopefully it's gone on without a hitch. Hopefully. What there is in there? I can clearly see Corvette Racing's not in here anymore. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we got a So Saxy 3606. Thank you for the follow. Nice. It's actually like Saxon. That's pretty freaking awesome. Nice to have you here. Albeit probably only for the only time you'll see me on on here. But thank you for the follow. Let's see who else we got up in here. It's only showing one, but we got a slew of others. As I probably will mentioned earlier, this is the last Twitch stream for me, as I will be moving over to this channel right here in the link. So if anybody wants to go and subscribe to it, this will be the link I will be streaming from here on out, unless you're already over here watching this on YouTube. In that case, hello YouTube, or hello my channel and stuff like that. Hell yeah. Yep. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, make sure to include it in your end, since I've
just included on my end.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast in St. Louis 13 as we're preparing to get away for our 4th out of 5 sims here for the Petite Le Mans run by Sunshine League and IESC. I am joined today by DMG Dramora, who's doing his last Twitch broadcast stop thus far, if not period. Dramora, you've already been running your own pre-race show for about a good better part of 30 minutes up to this point. As we are looking on the precipice of these final 4 hours here at Petite Le Mans at Road Atlanta, what, in your opinion, are the important things that we should be looking forward to today?
Well, obviously, as I've only been made aware of this, one team has so far has bowed out, but I believe everybody else has been so far in this lobby. I believe we just had only one have bowed out and all that stuff. That being, I think, the Corvette guys, which that kind of did bum me out. But I'm hoping to expect hopefully some good action everywhere, from the front to the back of the pack. And I'm looking over at my chat. We got FCR Aspect over here. He says he is subbing in for Sabotage. Understandable. Hopefully.
So not to burst your bubble, but we may have a second pullout. The second BMW M8 entry that is typically fielded by SRD Shredder may be pulling out due to medical issues. So
might be. Oh, I think I recognized Shredder's
so with
not
that in
in
mind, so with that in mind, we only have one M8 left. That would be scored Buffalo. Buffalo trying to go for overall event win, and that's kind of the big thing. I do want to talk very briefly about your IESC GT champion. He basically locked up the championship after coming home with another GT win last weekend. His closest points rival completely choked. So he came in here with one focus: win Petit Le Mans. He's trying to do all the stints solo. It's not turned out very well for him. In the first stint, he was caught up in a massive multi-car accident on the way in those downhill S's, caught up with a bunch of other GTs and some protos as well. He was able to get back going, able to continue, but overall, he is on a downslide overall when it comes to his pace. He really is trying to dig deep and dig hard to try and extend his distance overall to make up for all that time lost early on. However, that kind of leads into the bigger concepts here. Now, I have not been saying right there, eagerly watching this as everything has gone on. We have had someone else broadcast the first 2 teams. I have not been that person. But this event, this entire event, also I do want to say thank you to Zach for doing the streams for the first 3 stints. Big thanks for being willing to do that. And I do highly encourage everyone to go ahead and check out his Twitch channel and subscribe to that, or sign up, or whatever Twitch's name is. I think they changed it recently. But anyways, one of the other big things about today's race has been chaos. It's been damage. We have seen so many different incidents. In stint 2 today, we had one of the DPI drivers have an accident on the downhill run out of the final corner. He hit the outside tire barrier, and the car was stuck perpendicular to the track. The rest of the field had nowhere to go, and they came flying down to that blind corner right into him. At least 4 different prototype drivers were involved in that accident. That corner is right after pit lane entry. So either you have to pull out altogether and forfeit, continue running that stint, or run an extremely damaged car excessively slowly around the entire track to try and get going again. That final corner isn't the only problem corner, but it is indicative of a bigger issue here. This race has been very chaotic and very accident happy throughout.
Yeah, so much so. Like you said, there have only been 2 who have bowed out of this race due to either, medical reasons or mechanical reasons, pretty much. And I'm looking over at my chat, he said, Aspect says the one car to look out for is the ESV guys. Like, they were started on the pole in this race for the GTE class, and he said to watch out for them. Knowing how the ESV guys are, they're really good.
And you need to keep that in mind also when it comes to the ESV drivers. ESV Barcode, who is in that Ferrari, that's the same entry that won in dominating fashion at the Road America 6-hour endurance race, which was earlier in the IESC season. Again, the endurance races for IESC are done in conjunction with SRL or Sunshine League. Sunshine League does the overall organizing, building, and everything like that for the endurance races. However, they also do award points for drivers who are signed up for a full season in IESC. That's why we're seeing a much larger field here today than what we've seen for the last few weeks. Real quickly, I'm really trying to go ahead and pull up the current information for the way this race has gone up to this stage. We are about to start stint number 4 here. This will be roughly a 2-hour stint, and then we'll be getting away to stint 5. That'll be the finale. So just only 2 stints that I have to cover today instead of 3 stints. I am so thankful I don't have to cover all 5 stints. I would probably be dead by this point.
Yeah, it's the same. I'm so glad Zach did decide to come in. I'm like, thank God, because I was going to wake up at 7. I'm like, thank God he's taking over. He did a great job. And yeah, shout out to Zach the One for taking care of those first 3 stints.
Okay, so as it is right now, I'm going ahead and this is what looks like the overall stint distances are for everyone thus far. So at this point, Hyperion Motorsport and Portland United in DPI and LMP2, both of them have pulled out at this point. Make sure you're properly readied up to spectate in this. They're both out of it. The Portland team had gotten a did not qualify, so they are not in for the event. Hyperion had pulled out altogether due to a inability to get drivers to run all the stints had offered, but it didn't work out, and then also a inability to hit the necessary qualifying time, apparently. So last place right now is LMP DPI. They are in the number one DPI entry. That is a Chevrolet. They are currently dead last with absolutely no time or distance recorded thus far. Then it's a bit of a drop down back. You have the BMW GT Team 4. That is run by SRD Shredder. Shredder wants to try and run all the stints by himself, but it looks like he's pulling out. He only got a distance of 192.69 miles into the event. Ahead of him is Apex Autosport. Apex Autosport has seen AX4X Bandit, ACR Bionic, and another entrant by AX4X Bandit. Apex Blade will be running this stint. They have covered 194.41 miles. That leaves them just 300ths off of the Corvette Racing entry. The Corvette team of U5, RZM, and U5 again, they have gone thus far. It's going to be NWRS Sabotage who will be running in this event today, in this stint here. Ahead of them will be DMS Esports. They are in the Ford DPI. They're one of the teams that just had no good luck whatsoever. Only 217 miles completed.
Yeah, I hate to be, I think, the bearer of bad news, but I did hear that the Corvette team is one of those that pulled out of the race.
Oof.
So they are no longer at this point racing.
Alright. Well, FCR Aspect, NWRS Sabotage, and DMS Hunter, they have only completed 217 miles thus far. Ahead of them is the Zoomers, and now we start getting to the actual proper stint distance thus far. They are in the Chevrolet number 3 Corvette. They are going to be running with, they ran with Coin C in the first 2 stints. It's been slow boxed in the last stint, stint 3, but it was going back to Coin C now. Just ahead of them in the overall distance right now is the OGs. They're in the Ferrari, but not the dominant Ferrari that we've been testing thus far. This is an IESC entry. It's been shared with Rockmar, Larry B, the G. Rock is going to be running again. Larry is trying to lock up 3rd overall in GT Championship points. Then ahead of them is Team Sakura Mercurian Witches. I absolutely bloody love that team name. I'm not as much of a fan of the car they're in. They're in the Porsche. Number 25 Porsche to be exact. It has AX4X Mikun, SWR Quackula, who has run the last 2 stints, and then is going to be Fresh. I can't read his name because
Fresh Cube. I got the list up here. Fresh Cuban Bread.
So absolutely outstanding job. I'm not a fan of the car being a Porsche, but I am a fan of that paint job. I absolutely do like it. You can take any bad-looking car and make it something nice with a little bit of, you know, anime, I guess you could say it. I'm a sucker for anime schemes. 17th overall, not 17th, 14th overall is ACR. ACR is in the Dodge entry, the only Dodge entry running thus far. We know the Dodge cars are very competent. ACR Pat ran the first 2 stints. Last stint was run by Mexican Badass. It looks like it's going to be ACR Pat again, though. Ahead of them is IFEA Racing in the BMW. That is Scored Buffalo's entry. He is a long way off right now. Kind of back there in 5th position behind 4 Dodges and Ferraris. That BMW at the moment is down by about 7 miles overall distance compared to the leading Ferrari. In that it's been Scored Buffalo and maybe Racing who has been training off. It will be Buffalo running in this stint. Ahead of them right now is TMS Shelby in that number 66 machine. And that is run by TMS Amaze, TMS T-Rex in the first 3 stints. It's going to be Ludicrous Speed who is back in it. Ludicrous had a really bad run in his only stint in the endurance races earlier this year. He ended up lagging out before they even got 20 laps in there. He's going to hope they can keep it together throughout the entire race today. Just ahead of them is going to be Polyphony Motorsport, representing the GT guys. And by GT, I mean Gran Turismo, not GT class, although we are still talking about GT drivers at the moment. That is Noble CW, ESV Breeze, who has won the last 2 stints, and Breeze is also going to be running this stint as well. Just ahead of them, PTG, 2nd overall in the GT category. That is another Dodge, again, entry under SRL. PTG Solar and PTG II have run in the prior stints. It's going to be another entry by PTG II today. Then leading right now in GT is ESV Bloppa team. That is the number 105 Ferrari, the dominant Ferrari that we saw at Road America. They're dominating thus far here, but it's not been quite as much. The gap at the front is only about 3/4 of a mile distance right now. It's ESV Barcode, who was in the first 3 stints, and it looks like he's going to be running this stint as well. Then we finally get into the P2 category.
Before we get to the P2, I will just say Barcode is the only driver in here. He is doing all 5. Which is, if he does all 5, that's impressive.
I do hope he's standing up, doing at least a little bit of jog or pull-ups, drinking water or something. That way he doesn't end up killing himself sitting too long on the chair trying to do this. All right, so now we go ahead and...
Yes, I will take care of what... Okay, you can go with the P2, and I will mention the drivers for those, or at least for now. I have them all on a Microsoft Word document.
I'll leave that to you then. For P2. So
I don't know. Okay, we got the first one I see up here at the bottom is to be determined. Where are they at in terms of the P2 cars? Insane.
They are last right now. They're actually 5th at the moment. They have only completed 417.11 miles thus far.
Okay, and that consists of GRM Jag, DOR Cerberus, and DOR Mardag, who is racing for them this stint. I believe that would be Mardag is racing for them right now. Then we get to...
Next up is SFM Dive Bomb.
Yes, SFM Dive Bomb, which is Miraki, and SFM Darkser, and that's being run by Darkser at the moment. Then we got LMP Esports, and that's 3rd. That's got
Mugen, actually.
Oh, Mugen, actually.
Mugen is 3rd.
Mugen is 3rd.
It's close, though, so I don't blame you.
I got them all where they were at the starting lineup, but yeah, it's not that bad. But yeah, Mugen Motorsport, which consists of the current hosts of this lobby, LMR Critical and Mr. Sunshine. Second, I'm assuming, is LMP Esports, which I believe at the moment is going to be driven by TVR. Yes, I'm correct. And that happens to also have Ren 01 and Grizz. And then overall in P2, it is the OTR Snoop Doggo.
It's the mother double G.
Yes, Snoop Dogg. Love that. And I believe that we got Muses in there. There's also Animendims. I don't know how to pronounce that name. But you also got Poping in there.
Alright, and then really quickly running us down through the DPI category. We only have 4 DPIs at the top of the sheets right now. Is TNR Esports in 4th. They are going to be having Remix running for them. Then in 3rd overall is Shappy Chevy. They are running with Karasi and EXR Cole and another EXR driver. That's not Cole. I can't see who their Stint 4 driver is at the moment. Second overall in DPI, though, is Sweaty Muffins. They are entered through the Chevrolet as well. They currently have Nexus, ran their first 2 stints. It is RZM Arsenal who is running right now. Arsenal just needs to bring home some good finishes so he can lock up the IESC DPI Drivers Championship. And leading overall in DPI at the moment is Audi Sport Team Jose. It's annoying that they call themselves Audi Sport because that's not an Audi, it's actually a Ford. And that number 10, that as Stingray FM, who ran the first 2 stints, is STR Mulsan, who ran stint 3, and he will also be running here in stint 4. And that is the current overall setup. At the top right now in DPI, it is 446.73 mile distance in the Ford's favor. 443.82 is Chevy, that is in 2nd. When it comes to LMP2 right now, Snoop Dogg is sitting with 434.93 miles distance. That gives him a significant 6-mile plus advantage over 2nd place LMP Esports. And again, ESV Bloppa leads over PTG and GT right now in overall distance, but it's by a very small margin. Bloppa is at 398.93 mile distance, and then their closest rival has 398.25 distance. So within GT, we are looking at less than 3/4 of a mile's gap. Keep an eye on that going forward.
Yep. And they are go. They got by the mutual side, and we are green here in stint 4.
FCR Aspect really struggling to keep pace. I think he got caught a little bit by surprise by the initial start. Big twitch by Garmite as he begins coming uphill. You need to be very careful going through this turn. But it looks like the top 3 all get through without issue. Farther back, though, as I go ahead and I look in the GT category, that's PTK II, who I'm taking a look at right now. He is right there with the Dodge leading a Ford. It's one of those classic American muscle battles right now. Just ahead, though, is the Ferrari ESV barcode. Oh, and there's somebody who's gone way off farther back. I believe that may have been a Chevrolet. No, that was not a Chevrolet. That was another Ferrari. No, that was a Chevrolet, actually. That was Coincy who went off. And that number 69 has dropped him near the back of the DT grid. And in very last place right now is actually Ludicrous Speed in the Ford. Not a great start for him whatsoever.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate start for Ludicrous Speed here in this stint, but hopefully he can rebound. It is pretty early in the race, so maybe he will regroup and maybe get some more positions here in this stint. As we're gonna look, we got a battle here for.
Oh, LMP Wonder having a little bit of trouble trying to navigate his way through LMP2 traffic. He just ran right into the back of Critical while trying to cut his way up to the grid. They're gonna be side by side for what would be 6th overall as they come out of the final quarter. For the moment, though, it is LMP Wonder picking up the positions, but he is starting in a very bad position, having been started way down the grid outside the top 4. So, yeah, he really needs to start turning things around now.
Yes, we're looking at this now. Yes, we got Wonder now. He got by Critical now.
Here comes LMP TVR. He wants to set up a run on Critical. The big thing within the P2 category, at least on the IESC side, there's not really been a whole lot of active fights throughout the category until just last week at VAR. For the most part, it's been very spread out. SR Aspect, who is 4th right now in DPI, has just made a mistake and has actually fallen behind a P2 farther up. But as I was saying, within P2, there's not been a whole lot of inter-category fighting. Everyone's on the exact same playing field. There's no difference between the cars except for who has the thing set up better and who is most comfortable with them. Last week at VAR, we finally started seeing some proper fighting in that category. It looks like that's continuing now as Critical is trying to do his best to keep LMP TVR behind him on track.
Yes, unfortunately, I wish I could chime in on that, but I have been gone for quite some time, to be honest. As TVR is looking to the inside of Critical here. This would be the lead for P2, I believe. But,
that would be second for P2, actually, as second. It is Il Muse who is currently leading. Muse also had a very, very competent run back in the Road America 6-hour race, and Muse is actually the driver being held up by FCR Aspect. The problem there is that DPI cars have an excessive amount of speed down the straightaways, but they're a lot slower in the corners than the P2s. They're significantly heavier than the P2s, and the P2s can get away with a lot less downforce as well and maintain the same cornering speed. So you see, they got to the back straightaway here. Il Muse is right there behind FCR.
Yeah, you can
immediately blaze down
here
the power,
comes
just
TVR.
runs away.
Wonder blazes by Muse for 5th overall. So that, yes, like you said, Muse is currently, but we are now seeing a bigger gap between Critical and TVR. TVR must have made a mistake.
And that also will bring Darkster into the fray.
Yes.
Darkster now can see. And that Gran Turismo 4 PlayStation 2 sponsored machine. I believe that's Gran Turismo 4.
Let me have a look here. Yep, PS2.
I see the PT logo
yeah, it's
on
got
it.
some. Yeah, there's PS2, so I would assume.
Well, it's either Gran Turismo 4 or Gran Turismo 3, so I would hope it's Gran Turismo 4, because Gran Turismo 4 is the better game. I am in the... Oh, wow, TVR cuts off Darkster as they come uphill out of the S's. Wow,
yes, we were trying to...
say that P2's...
Woo, this is getting... Oh, this is really exciting. Oh, look at the inside. Darkster going to the inside.
He pushed him up the line. Darkster holds
Darkster
the line.
completes.
TVR tries to cross over on exit, and he's there. He's side by side, but cannot put the power down quite as well.
Oh, here comes TVR back on the attack, looking to try and get
he hit the grass.
second here from. Oh, they touch. They're side by side here.
Coming down to the braking zone, Darkster
Who's
has
gonna get the
inside
advantage?
line
Oh no! Yeah, he does, but now it's gonna be TVR. Is he gonna have the advantage? No, he won't.
Pushes the
Oh,
line.
still-
Oh, they're gonna be side. You don't want to be side by side through this corner. Someone has to back out here.
Oh, and it was
It'll be
Darkster that
Darkster.
backed out. It was Darkster who backed out. Ooh, that was so dang close. That would have been a disaster if he didn't back out right there.
Oh, the
And- oh,
goes
no!
off. Goes off as well. They're both go
Both
off.
of them go
They're
off.
both gonna lose a fucking time in the process. And that is the fight for third overall in P2, and now they're going to completely lose touch with second place in the category. They're still going crazy, and TVR tries cutting off Darkster again. Darkster has a nice straight line run as it goes through the Essence, and I think TVR has a faster straight line speed car on the straights as well.
Ooh, this is a really tight battle here for second in P2 right now, or eighth, but for overall, as Darkster's looking to take a look on the inside, but only took a look. Look as TVR.
Here it is
Hold on
now.
a second.
Yeah, TVR most definitely has an advantage in the straight line. Even with the draft, you can see that Darkster is losing tons
Yes.
with TVR. The counterpoint to that, though, is that Darkster has no problem closing that gap back under braking. Look at him, he gets right underneath the rear wing as they get to that backstretch chicane. Now they come uphill. Darkster's going to be there behind TVR. This is good for him because TVR has to be a lot more careful in the final corner. Darkster can really put the power down a lot more aggressively. That gives him a great run down the front, straight away and into turn number one. This is
Yeah,
where
you
the
were
two of them
just-
went off last lap. Are they going to keep it together this lap?
Yeah, they are, but you mentioned how in that final corner, Darkster went a little bit more closer to the tire wall near the
Oh,
start
and
finish
Darkster's
line.
in the grass.
Ooh,
He's lost so
that's
much time now.
big. That is a big move. You hate to see that for Darkster. But for TVR, you gotta love it. Like, finally, I can maybe breathe for once.
But real quickly, a different fight at the top of the sheets. It is RZM Sean leading Garmite, and Garmite is within 3/4 of a second as they're navigating their way now through GT traffic. That is Rockmar and the Ferrari ahead that they're coming up on. Again, GTs are going to be way slower than the DPIs in the corners here. You can see Sean really has to swerve on the exit of the corner to get by him. Now it's Garmite's turn as he comes up. Oh, Sean cuts the grass, and Garmite having a great run. Now there's only one car between them. There's no cars between them. Garmite runs to the dirt to try and keep his car straight. He is down with the spinning distance from Sean at the top of the field right now.
Oh, but yeah,
Sean has the advantage in the Ford, but it looks like the Chevrolet but it looks like the Ford driver Garmite is quite competent at the moment. No, they're both Chevys. I'm wrong. I thought Garmite was in the Ford. For some reason, the paint scheme made me think that was a different manufacturer.
yeah, no, they're both
lead 1-2
Chevys. They're
at
both.
the moment.
Yeah, they lead 1-2, and then we see what Mulsanne is. He is the highest for DP right now.
Mulsanne is 1.6 seconds out of this fight at the moment. Oh, when it comes to navigating traffic, it's all gone bad for Garmite. He had tried to dive deep on Brutals to get by him going into the chicane, but he's ended up losing a bunch of time. This has not gone well at all for him. Sean is now pulled out a 2-second lead.
Lights. We had a black screen. Did we lose somebody?
We may have lost
nobody.
somebody.
Nobody is
Nope.
out of the race. We are all good so far. Oh, yet again. Oh, this one's a little bit longer.
Yeah, we've lost someone
Oh, we
this time.
lost! Oh, Wonder! No!
And Ellen, he's not the only one to take note of, though. There's one more driver who has just had an incident in the back of the grid. That is Rockmar, who has had an accident in his Ferrari trying to get into the pit lane. He will finally get going again, but not gone well for him. So FCR Wonder now out of the event.
No, oh yeah, LMP Wonder. Not FCR, it's LMP Wonder.
Oh, it's LMP Wonder. Okay.
That leaves us with 4 DPs. Man, you hate to
FCR
see that.
Aspect currently 4th right now, and he has Il Muse right behind him. The thing is, Il Muse has not been good enough to get by FCR Aspect for good, and that means that Muse is having his time compromised as bought LMP Critical right behind him, as now the
Lamarck.
P2s are navigating their way through GT traffic.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize. It's LMR critical. Not LMP. I apologize for
I'm
everything.
making all sorts of mistakes.
Yeah, it's all right. I can.
Ill moves keeps critical behind him for now, but critical is now right behind that LMP2. The problem is that as Moose tries to run faster to keep critical behind him, he's going to run to the back of SCR Aspect again.
Yes.
The Aspect is going to hold him up. Also, there's one other thing I do want to talk about in the P2 category. Overall, when it comes to P2s, they're anticipating that this could be, it would be very close, but it could be a two-stop race for the LMP2 category. For DPI, we know they're going to have to make a lot more stops than that. What that means overall, and Rockmaro gets overtaken now by the entire LMP2
Yeah, I could definitely see potentially the P2s. I wouldn't say top of the leaderboard, but I would definitely say maybe one might be podium.
Yeah,
maybe.
It does seem like one LMP2 driver could end up overall podium, and if another really bad, massive accident happens in the DPI category, we may have a P2 on the top for this stint. There's no way P2s will win overall, although they are relatively close to the gap. The gap is steadily increasing stint by stint.
Oh, music! Oh, Muse!
He's around! He's rips out the lead! Oh, damn it, this is the car!
Oh, are you kidding me right there?
Totaled! He's totaled the steering, he's totaled the transmission, he's totaled the driveline. There are the numbers are cars, and Ill Muse, who had been leading at the top of the field, has turned number one. A self-inflicted mistake, and he is now dropping massive amounts of time. Here's lost in position at LMP TBR. Our Fun Dog might be able to close it and try and take the position as well. It has all gone south for Ill Muse.
Oh, that must have the sting for Muse right there. You hate to see it, but at the same time, again, critical in a familiar spot that I'm so used to seeing him in. P1 in the P2 cars.
Meanwhile, real quickly, we turn our focus to the DT category. It is Ferrari on top, ESV barcode. And with the Ferrari on top, all is right in the world in the land of Italy, just behind barcode by 3.2
His
seconds.
ESV
Another
teammate.
ESV driver.
Yeah.
That's ESV Breeze. He's in the Ford GT at the moment.
It's very interesting. It's Ford and Ferrari. How many times have we seen this story?
More than you think, but less than you know. Right now,
Yes.
when it comes to overall fuel and tire management, this is what it looks like. The leading Ferrari is a little bit better off with fuel, about 3 to 4% better overall. When it comes to tire management, though, that advantage is actually going to go into ESV Breeze's favor. However, that's with an asterisk. Barcode at the front is wearing his tires a little bit more evenly all around, while Breeze, who is second, gets a lot less wear in the rear tires, but a terrible amount of wear in the front tires. Now, I don't think we're going to get far enough into this run that tire degradation would really be a problem for the driver.
What you need to also factor in is that Barcode up to this point has raced in, so far, all 4 stints. So, at some point, fatigue is going to play a factor. Exactly.
Yeah, when does that kick come behind him? So the leading driver in P2 going to overtake now the leading driver in GT. Oh wow, you can see how quickly.
Hopefully that works.
Track is really for drivers in P2 and DPI. It comes to, just proper self-management, not overthrowing it. Your DT car, just go ahead, maximize your attack in every corner, every lap, bam, 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 bam. In DPIs and P2s especially, you need to be a lot more careful. You come up on slower traffic so much faster here that it really becomes a problem. It's not like at Road America where, most of the corners are kind of spread out. You don't have a whole lot of corners that go one right into another. Every corner here seems to flow into another one. You gain so much more time on the DTs here. You have to be not only comfortable to run the ideal racing line, you need to have no issue whatsoever seeing the DT car ahead and move into the alternate line and gain by them before things go south.
Yes. Yeah, like I said before, I ended up cutting off. Yeah, fatigue and exhaustion will play a factor in the GTs, like I said earlier.
Okay, so speaking of GT, one more thing to talk about. Third place overall in GT, it is scored Buffalo trying to recover from the Stint 1 accident that he was involved in. Third at the moment, 60% fuel. So scored Buffalo has nearly twice the fuel that the leaders have at the moment. But his tire wear is at the exact same point at the moment. What does that spell? What that means for scored Buffalo, he will have to worry about potential tire degradation in the closing stints of this race. But just as well, I'm sorry, I was overselling a bit. Buffalo's never twice, but Buffalo is in slightly better fuel position at the moment. So with that in mind, Buffalo may be able to try to make the stints go a little bit longer, push a little bit harder. The big problem for Buffalo is that he is struggling just to hold on to third because that is the dodge of PTG.
Yeah.
Who is right behind them right now.
Yes, indeed. And I look at the fuel mileage between the two. AA has probably a little bit more fuel than scored, which is saying something, but then again, it's score facing a PTG driver. It shouldn't be a surprise at the moment. But yeah, AA.
Nice to look forward to the endurance races. There's a little bit of difference in BOP when it comes to how IESC does their DPI and GT categories compared to what Sunshine League does. Sunshine League, I'm a little bit happier with how they balance the GT categories. I think IESC does a little bit better balancing with their DPIs at the moment. But right now, seeing the BMWs actually fighting on merit with another driver on the track is actually really nice to really see Scored Buffalo's actual ability as a driver, not just, okay, he's just clicking out the best laps in the best car. It's actually really nice to see this. At the moment, Buffalo's stretching out a gap against II. It's about a half second, but I'm watching that BMW. He has been extremely aggressive as they get to the far right side of the track, basically the two near right-hand corners. Buffalo really aggressive on corner exit. I don't know if he realizes he can sacrifice it, or if he's not properly calculating the width of the car. But almost every lap we've gone through there, I've seen Buffalo drop the left rear tires into the outside grass. So keep an eye on that. That could be an incident we already have seen today. As here comes our team, Sean Leader in DPI. As he's gonna make his way through this battle for third DT. But we have seen already our top LMP2 driver at one point make a mistake and it has dropped him well back to the grid. It'd be really, really frustrating if we saw a similar thing happen to the GT category.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've just been looking at this battle here. 15th overall. I don't know where that place is in the GT. Between Fresh Cuban Bread and Ludicrous Speed. There was at one point Ludicrous Speed was right on the bumper of Fresh Cuban Bread. As they also got by Coin C, who I believe at the moment is, he is in last in the GTs and last overall. But Ludicrous Speed got into the back of Fresh Cuban Bread there. Trying to see if he can force Fresh Cuban Bread to make a mistake. And
Porsche made a mistake. Look at that truck. He saved it. He completely sideways and he went over the curve and he put that back down and he saved it. Outstanding job by Ludicrous Speed as he is trying to recover from a very poor start of this race, and he's already back up to 15th overall. That would be 6th in GT.
It should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you are right. That is 6th in GT. But can Fresh Cuban Bread make up ground as he went wide there into that turn that allowed Ludicrous Speed to take 6th place from him?
Both drivers made big mistakes coming out of those Valley S's, the uphill, downhill S's section there. The thing is, while the Porsche stepped wide, the Ford allowed the power down. He shot forward, and you can see as the turtles spooled up, it happened just as the rear tires had their lowest amount of grips going over the curve, and the rear of the car completely spat sideways. And that Ford GT, which I know personally has been running extremely low downforce down. There was no fear there. He just took that wheel and yanked that thing at a solid 45-degree angle to the right-hand side, and he saved it. Outstanding job. And now, clean air is in Ludicrous Speed's favor. It's a 14.3-second gap between himself and A-Star Rudels. who is 5th right now in GT, and Lucas is already working on closing that gap down.
Yeah, but it's a big gap between Rules and Ludacris right now. Like over 2,000 feet lead at the moment. But as we see, AA somehow got by.
Buffalo.
Yes, he has.
Oh, and here comes Buffalo into the pits now. So there may have been an incident, maybe Buffalo got into the dirt or something, but he realized he needs to stop, he backs out. So he's pitting now, so he will be one of our first drivers in our top 5
AA is,
to make a
yeah,
stop.
AA is back up to second because Breeze went in as well.
So this will be good news for Barco, as Barco gets to turn quite a few laps in his Ferrari by himself, as we see FCR Aspect there in 4th in DPI, and 7th overall, and Mulsanne, who is 3rd overall, fighting. Aspect really not having a good time. He also made a stop already, so he has fallen behind, but Aspect looking like he will be on route to finishing at least a lap, multiple laps down. Aspect's DPI entry has been frustrating to say the least. He won at Daytona, but it was a big asterisk because he was more than a lap down at Daytona and won based on penalties, disqualifying the top 2 drivers. His next race wasn't until Laguna Seca. He was not able to finish that race, and he was a distant went a lap down before halfway point there. Then, Aspect also had a similar incident at Road America. He was not able to finish any of his stints, completely irrelevant there. He's only partaken in one other race incident, that is today, and it looks like it's been similar situations. Aspect, he has a car, but it seems like he's just not been able to properly come to grips with that machine.
Yeah, mind I imagine you that second race, that first race was under the DIR banner, and then he switched over to DMS Esports unbeknownst to me, because at the time when he made that, well, let's just say I was nowhere to be seen. I went.
Oh, I see how it is. So you're absolutely fine with me trashing him then, because you still hold a grudge against him over that. All right, I understand that.
No, it's everything's been forgiven.
Hey, don't get me wrong, Jamora. I like to pretend and like to act that my broadcasts are nice and serious and all of that, and try to emulate real life and to see SMR Darkster go by the Ford GT right now, but I'm going to be completely honest, I have no problem with drivers airing a little bit of their dirty laundry. Sometimes up here in the broadcasting booth, these races get long, everyone gets spread out, there's not much going on, it gets boring. Talking about trash and talking, not actual face, but talking about drama between drivers and stuff, I'm fine with that. If you have some drama to air, go ahead and air.
Yeah, it's everything.
Go ahead and try to call people by slurs or something.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. The situation at the very least has been taken care of, at least for now, at least for up until next season. The car is co-owned by me, my team, and DMS, so everything is all sunshine and nice clear weather now. So everything is
sunshine right now. Got it.
Sunshine and all that. Yes, pretty much. No pun intended.
SQR Mulsanne in the top 3 positions has made his stop, so he is now 44 seconds out of the leading Chevrolets. Now, also of note, this brought him into sight of LMR Critical, but Mulsanne has been good enough, clicking off laps that Critical is not catching him, so it looks like Mulsanne, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, will still have a more than likely a podium spot in the cars. At the front, though, it is turned into a 9+ second gap, but both first and second place are in the pits at the moment. Sean Garmite in pit lane. Mulsanne is flying down the back straightaway. That Ford, which is sponsored by Audi, is the weirdest bloody thing ever, is trying desperately to close the gap down. I don't know how well it's going to work out, though, because already it looks like those DPIs are back out onto the track.
Yeah, it might be really close. Oh wait, what was I saying? It's not even close.
Well, it's going to be somewhat close. It looks like in the end, Mulsanne's going to close the gap back down to the single digits. Well, single digits overall. It's looking like an 8.0 second gap now between second and third. So that's similar to the gap between first and second right now. So DPI very much spread out at the moment. Critical leads overall in LMP2, 10 seconds ahead of SFM Darkster, as Darkster and that polyphony Gran Turismo machine continues to lap the field. DVR is 6 seconds out from him. That is a massive gap back to our last place DPI driver. That's FCR Aspect, who is 7th overall. And behind him, it is Ilmuz. And Ilmuz has got to be so godforsakenly frustrated. Now, the good news, Ilmuz is still 11 seconds out. But Ilmuz can see that on the time sheet, he is closing down the Aspects. And he's like, for God's sake, I just want to be done being held up by DPI drivers. Ilmuz, he has spent so much time trying to fight in second place, trying to just get away from everyone else. He ended up getting the lead after Aspect gradually fell down the order. Now he's going to have to get back by that same DPI driver again. And the problem with that is that's going to kill Ilmuz's ability to try and make up ground from that self-inflicted exit he had earlier. Then,
yeah,
in ninth,
definitely.
with his last overall in P2 right now, that's DOR Mardog. He has already gone a lap down. He is significantly off pace in that number 221 machine. A bit of a shame. I really do like that scheme, but it looks like the scheme is all in the looks department, and the car is not so much together in the proper performance department. And at the moment, in GT, it is still a dominant lead by ESV Barcode in the Ferrari. The question there is, when will they go ahead and make their stop? 33% left in the field tank for Barcode. Second place is ESV Breeze, who's already made his first stop in the fourth. He's also already gotten by PTG II, as II has decided to stay out thus far, but Breeze is going to be going good on fuel for a while. So the question is, can Breeze overtake Barcode? Because right now, Breeze is running in cleaner traffic than what Barcode is running. Also, then you have third place with PTG III. He is fine with Sword Buffalo at the moment. Both of them have made their stops. II is just barely ahead of that BMW right now.
Yes, we're gonna here in my stream. We are gonna ride on board with Scored as he looks potentially catching past II right now. See if he can maybe get it done here, as they are both at least about car and a half.
Here comes
one
your
and a half
DPI
car
leader and your and one of your P2 drivers as well.
Yeah, ill moves. Sean gets by with ease.
Draft working out in Buffalo's favor. I can see him closing down to about 35 feet. As we get into the
30.
braking zone, though, I think
Under
the dog's
30
going to
now
have
here.
his head. Buffalo looks to the inside. Is this
Does
going to
he
be
have
it?
it?
Is this the move? No, he gets cut off. He's still
Oh,
there.
this allows. Oh, they're going
And
3
they go
wide
off,
under the
and
pit.
Buffalo goes off. And Ilmuz shoots past. Buffalo goes off.
Ooh, that was a tight one right there. Ilmuz was trying to find a way around him while they were still battling through. Unfortunately, it didn't work for it. Now it let freaking Buffalo get into the grass.
And now for II, he needs to get around Coinsey as quickly as he can, because if he can use that car as a pick, it might keep Sword Buffalo behind even longer. That's exactly what happens. And they're second overall in DPI. EXR Garbite now, he needs to rush his way past the DPIs, the GTs as quickly as possible. Garbite is right there behind II. And II this time, he's the one who gets a little bit wide. It will let Garbite get by, but II loses a bit of time. Buffalo finally gained by Coinsey as they go down the back straightaway, though. Taking a lot longer than I think he wanted it to.
Yes, and that's potentially might have hurt him. Yeah, looking at it right now, this is literally everybody else is so spread out at the moment. So we got about, here on my end, we got about few people. And all the while, freaking somehow finds a way to love it. Ooh, Score gets a little bit loose. As Mulsanne goes by, Scored.
At this stage in the race, most of the battles have pretty much tapered away. Everyone's kind of in their own zone. There's lots of passing happening now, but it is now cross-class passing at the moment. I assume that you guys are able to understand what I mean by that. So really, the only deal at the moment is II trying to stay ahead of Sword Buffalo as various P2s and DPIs go blitzing by them down the straights and through the corners.
Yes, absolutely. as we have about less than an hour 30. They've only been in this sim for about 30 minutes. Well, more than 30 minutes now.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I hate to admit it, I forgot to set a clock for this.
I have mine set to like the full length of the race. But I know there's going to be a time that they're going to stop on the track, so just like in Tora, pretty much.
Yeah, typically with about 20 minutes left. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I forgot to set a clock. So,
yeah, it's alright. I got my.
forgot to set a clock. I've done that so many times this season, and it's absolutely hard the quality of the broadcast. And it's probably the biggest embarrassment I've had.
Yeah, I've said it multiple times. This is probably the first time I have done this since probably Silverstone a few couple months ago. So I'm pretty fresh on the mind with these kind of races, so. Yes, at the moment, the only battle is for, I believe that is third in GT. I scored. As we're seeing, scored is now being passed by LMR Critical. He is, I believe, the highest in P2 right now. P2 leader and 4th overall, which is awesome for Critical.
Looking once again into the GT category, Ludicrous Speed is still 15th. He's not really close as much on the top 5 as he wants to. In fact, they have actually been gaining ground on him as we see LMPTPR go by Barcode. Barcode is now saying himself to potentially set Ludicrous Speed a lap down. The big thing though, Barcode has yet to make his first stop in the race. All the other GT entries have made their first stop. For Barcode, I wonder how hard it's going to be for him to try and overtake Ludicrous Speed here. That Ford GT very competent in the corners, a lot slower in the straights, but if Ludicrous is good enough out of the corners, that will negate the Ferrari straight line speed advantage here. Barcode has 17% left in the fuel tank, so he's likely going to be pitted in the next 3 or 4 laps. My question is, how does he decide to pit early so he's not held up by the Ford GT? Or does he go ahead and keep pounding it out and try to not lose too much time dealing with a yearly lap car category?
And we get over here on my chat, about 5 people. I thank you for tuning in.
Oh wow, this is gonna be easy. Yeah, that Ford GT, it's a monster in the corners, but there's just nothing that the Ford GT can do in the straights to fight back.
Yeah, Ludicrous is
doesn't
just
even
like
try to fight back.
Yeah, he doesn't. He like, yeah, I'll let you by.
Well, again, the other thing is that Barcode, as he comes across the start-finish line, he's got only about 15% fuel left in the tank. So he's going to have to pit in the next 2 laps anyways. But look at how much speed that Ford GT goes from barely holding onto the back of the Ferrari to hammering him and hounding him all the way through basically the rest of the circuit until they finally get onto the straights here. Oh, Lucas at the back way off, and he backed right into Sean. And Sean, leader in the DPI category, now has to try and navigate this little tussle. I think it's going to work out well enough for him, but Sean will definitely lose some time in the process. The thing is, does he lose any significant time because Garmite is still the better part of 11 seconds out?
Yeah, the gap at the moment right now is about less than. I have it in 1,500 in feet. It's about. It varies between the 1,500 to 2,000 feet right now. So it's interesting to see the two different perspectives of gaps between you and me. Insane. You have it in the seconds. I have it in the feet and all that stuff.
Yours changes all the bloody time, constantly under brake and under acceleration. About the seconds while they change, it's normally by.
And here comes
tenths.
Barcode. Barcode enters the pits now.
Alright, so now the question is going to be ESP Breeze, who has just come onto the back straightaway. How much will he be able to close? Again, Breeze is also in that Ford GT entry right now. And there's someone else in the pits with Barcode. Who is that?
TBR. Maybe he had to come in too? Maybe he was...
Possibly.
Yes, to everyone else. I will end it saying I'll be right back. Bathroom is calling me.
The gap down now. Already down to 20 seconds. We'll see what the actual time is shortly here. Barcode's gap falls to 2 seconds. Falls to 1.5 seconds. Falls to 1 second. Less than a second. Breeze can see Barcode, but that is Coinsy, who is there playing spoiler. Oh, Barcode, big twitch on those cold tires. Breeze is already by. We have a fight for the GT category lead. Breeze can see Barcode at the front. It is Ford versus Ferrari for the GT category lead here at Road Atlanta. Barcode holds station over Breeze. Breeze gets it all the way down to 6/10, but as they put the power down to the straightaway, this is where the Ferrari will have its biggest advantage already. He starts pulling away from Breeze down the back straightaway. Already the gap opens back up to 8/10. Already opens back up to 9/10. Can they get it to 1 second exactly into braking? Barcode, when they get into braking, he's going to have a 1.1 second advantage. And now Breeze is going to close back on the Ferrari for basically the next mile around this circuit. Clean air ahead right now for the GTs. And there's no DPI drivers in a position to fight with them. No P2 drivers in a position to fight with them right now. So this is 100% merit at the moment. Breeze gets the gap back down to 7/10. So they're going through the S's again. Gets it down to 6/10. Both of them drop a tire into the grass, but they come onto that short straight. And this will work back up in the Barcode's favor. Breeze will counter the advantage here in these two near 90-degree corners, but then Barcode will have the advantage. It looks like that's what's going to win this overall. Barcode just has a better straight line speed advantage over the 4 GTs. There's just nothing that Breeze can do to fight back. He claws back. The two cars are basically even around the entire circuit except for the back straightaway. But the back straightaway is just long enough that lets Barcode open up the gap against the Ford, keeps the Ford from actually doing anything to fight back. Elsewhere on circuit, third place for GT continues to be contested. Scored Buffalo, keeping PTG II honest as we see LMR critical, your LMP2 leader navigating his way through right now. So GT has been the main category to keep focus on, although we have seen some decent fighting in P2 early in the stint. Coming down now into those two 90-degree corners right before the back straightaway. The back straightaway gives Scored Buffalo a small advantage, and it looks like Buffalo's kind of come into his own when it comes to navigating those corners. And also, here's the other thing about Buffalo. Buffalo's biggest strength I've noticed throughout the season is that he may not be the greatest at the initial start, but as the races go on, he becomes more and more confident, more and more comfortable with the car. He normally gets faster and faster as the stint advances. Now, right now, II has a 1.2 second lead over Buffalo, but Buffalo's times are going to continue to pick up, assuming he doesn't get caught up into anything. II is not going to be able to just leave Buffalo in the dirt and ignore him for the rest of the day by the looks of it. Thankfully, this here, the fourth stint of our race, has been relatively accident-free. We have seen a few single-car incidents, but nothing that's absolutely crippled a massive chunk of the field like what we saw in stint 2. Oh, Il Mills makes some contact. with BTGIII coming out of the S's, and that brings Buffalo back into the fray. Closes it back down to 5/10, might get it back into 4/10 or even 3/10 under braking. This is great news for Buffalo because now he can get the draft of that Dodge Viper ZT as they go to the back straightaway and might be able to go for a move under braking. So earlier, it was that same driver ill moves that compromised Buffalo's run against II. This time, now it was II who was compromised. Under braking. Gap is closing rapidly, but Buffalo, is he going to run for it? No, he looked to it, but will not go into braking. Cuts the grass as the big cat kills his momentum. Buffalo right there, fighting for third in DT. I had a bad bobble over the inside curve out of 5 corner. Buffalo's right there. Does he make a move in turn 1? No, not yet. He's waiting to see if it will come to him or if it's time to a safe that has hit the seafloor. Buffalo a lot straighter, a lot more confident going through those S's. II, though, seems to be better navigating that car through them. And I have to wonder if that may just be a advantage when it comes to the overall weight placement and aerodynamic properties of that Dodge Viper. The Dodge center of gravity a lot lower. He doesn't weigh nearly as much as the BMW behind him, so that means the Dodge will have a significant advantage navigating his way through the corners. But again and again in the back straightaway, II actually accelerates sooner than Buffalo, gets up to his top speed a bit quicker, but then Buffalo starts closing the gap down near the end of the back straightaway. So Buffalo ideally wants to be right there in the Dodge Viper's draft all the way down so he can maximize his top speed advantage and minimize. Oh, and II dropped the tire into the grass, and now there goes after him. Darkshire right above him. Buffalo and II both off the ideal racing line as they come into the final corner. Buffalo's going to go to the outside now, across the road, and he'll go to the inside. Stop and set for third for a GT position. BMW this is not Buffalo sends it up to third position. I think he's going to try to cross over coming out of turn 1 under braking though. This is going to work out for Buffalo because he's usually very good at keeping the car nice and straight through these uphill, downhill S's. II throws it up on man's side by side. II has to back out of it though. Buffalo holds the position. Oh, slide from Buffalo. No, goes back inside. His acceleration man. He'll deny the inside line to Buffalo as he goes down into braking on 2 90-degree corners, side by side. LBTVR is right there behind. He gets into II. Can't get by II and then tracks the one down there. That's going to come in the back straight. One more. Having a dream race. II the advantage of initial acceleration. Buffalo have the advantage and top acceleration. The two of them are in a dead heat track race as they go down the back straightaway, side by side for a third position. Buffalo will have the braking advantage as they go into the chicane, and II will have the advantage of them out on coming out of the chicane. Side by side still, they've been side by side for about a lap. Buffalo pulls ahead of II, back into third position. And that will give Buffalo the position for good as II now falls about 4/10 behind him. So Buffalo, on his quest to recover from the first stint accident, has now brought himself back into third place overall. Ahead though, the fight for the GT lead continues. Ferrari continues to hold off forward as Barcode has the advantage, but Breeze is significantly close to the Ferrari this time than was the last few laps. Downhill now and into that backstretch chicane. This is where the Ford GT now has the advantage in his favor. He's within 6/10. Barco isn't incompetent though through the final corner. As we see a P2 now come up, he'll overtake Breeze coming into turn 1. Breeze wants that P2 to really cause Barco some issues there. Doesn't look like it will happen though. The GT fight for the lead has been contested, but they've not quite gotten to the position where they can start swapping spots. Mind you, overall, the Ferrari's lead is very small over the Ford, but if they can keep it like that, the Ferrari would continue to eke out a small advantage to the end. Also, these two are on different pit stop strategies. Breeze will have to pit before Barcode does. As he gets on the back straightaway, this time Barcode has the advantage.
I have returned and I've noticed Zach the One has followed. Thank you, Zach, for the follow.
Barcode continues to hold station over Breeze, and while you were gone, Drumore, we had an absolute, I don't know whose car you were focused on, but we had an absolutely intense battle for the third position, and in the end, it took them the better part of 3 laps.
Yeah, I've always been focused on Barcode, so I'm glad I came in and saw that there was a battle here for the GT lead.
Yeah, well, not only that, we were actually broke away for a bit from that fight and were focused on the fight between Squirt Buffalo, who is now back in the third, and PTG III, the two of them very evenly matched down the back straightaway. It's basically the rest of the circuit that kind of ended up deciding it for them. In the end, though, Buffalo got the position. Needed a little bit of help. It was a lot of LMP2 traffic that kind of hamstringed that Dodge Viper and gave the BMW the chance to move back into position. But Buffalo, in his recovery drive, is now back in the third overall. Here at the front, though, the Ferrari of Barcode has led pretty stably, in a pretty stable way over ESV Breeze. Barcode's biggest advantage is that he's able to gain so much time just on the back straightaway, and that Breeze, while he is able to close it all back in the corners, he's not able to close it enough that will let that Ford GT pull alongside that Ferrari anywhere on track. Elsewhere on the track, though, at the top is RZM Sean. He now has a 16.3 second advantage over EXR Garmite, so Sean looks like he's going to walk up with the stint victory. Fourth overall and leading in P2 is LMR Critical. Critical has a 9.4 second advantage over Il Moose, as Moose is trying desperately to recover from that self-inflicted accident earlier. But right now, as I look at Critical, he's really good on fuel right now. He'll be able to go for a long time. Il Moose is going to have to pit shortly here. And here's the other thing. Il Moose, this is something I wanted to talk about earlier. I got a little bit distracted on the P2s. Are expecting that this could be a 2-stop race for them for first stint. The counterpoint to that, though, is that it all comes down to being able to manage yourself. Because if you end up having to stint a lap early, we're going to end up hamstringing yourself. You're going to kill your ability to only make it 2 stops. And you will have to pit an extra time near the end of the race. You're not supposed to make an extra stop, but you would have to do that. Counterpoint, if you go long and end up extending it, you're actually running so much slower, you will end up losing time overall. So right now, while Il Moose is now up in the second overall, and only 10 seconds out from Critical, Il Moose basically now has an entire extra stop he has to deal with because he had to stop earlier to repair that damage. So Il Moose may be second overall right now, and he might be the fastest person, but that accident and the pit stop they need to do to repair it has more than likely taken Il Moose out of contention for category victory in the stint, and will massively hamstring his ability and his entire team's ability to pull off a victory here, just because the LP2 fight is that tightly contested and that tight when it comes to overall fuel numbers.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so Breeze has made his stop now. This will give Barcode clean track ahead once again. As I say, clean track ahead. There are drivers ahead of Barcode right now they will have to take note of. Fresh human bred, who is trying to stay on the lead lap right now, will be one of them. And then also Rockmaro, who is ahead of your current leader as well. Boydski is already multiple laps down, so he's not going to come into the fray. Rockmaro is a lap down, so I don't think Rock's going to actively hold up ESV Barcode around here. But still, it's another car you have to overtake, and this track is relatively narrow for GT. It's going to be really hard to make that pass clean. So Barcode, his track ahead, not quite as clean as it is for his rival in the Ford GT. This could compromise him overall. Again, right now, Barcode and that Ferrari has an overall advantage when it comes to stint distance coming into the stint. However, it was by a very small margin. The other thing to consider, though, ESV Breeze, who now after that stop is all the way back to fourth, he can now see Scored Buffalo and PTG II ahead of him. He's faster than both of them, but if he ends up wasting a lot of time trying to fight his way through that BMW and that Dodge Viper, it's really going to harm him, especially because that Ford GT is not really a fighting car. It's more of a defensive and hot-lapping car. Clean air is imperative for Breeze to pull off a good run here.
Yeah, once again, if you're at least on my end watching, we are on board with scored Buffalo second at the moment, but it looks like he is holding on, but it's
also, I want to give credit to HCR Rudels. Rudels has absolutely picked up his pace as this event has gone on. He is also one of the drivers running in a Dodge Viper, so I mistakenly said we only had one Dodge Viper entry today. That was we have two. And Rudels is picking up the pace and is closing down slowly on the drivers ahead of him.
Yeah, all at the expense of his tires are really, really bad.
But if you don't have to pay for tires and you're paying for just fuel and you can survive some bad tire wear, though, that won't be too bad.
Yeah, his fronts are red. It's... woof! Yeah, nice job on him for... Oh, we got... He's coming into the pits where he's about to exit.
Oh, yeah, Rudels is out! Rudels has run himself out of fuel! ACR Rudels, who is fourth at the moment, has just run himself out of fuel. So he's dead on front tires, and he is out of fuel as they go down the back straight. As he went by, as he went up through the uphill S's, I was like, man, that car is really quiet. Is Forza giving me a sound good? No, he is out of fuel, apparently.
Yeah, he's currently, well, looking at him right now,
he's coasting. Ugh. I think he'll have enough momentum to get up the hill, but this is massively going to kill his ability.
And he's not even
staying out again.
I don't know why he...
Is there an issue with the telemetry? Because I don't hear any engine sounds. The car doesn't look that fast, but
it's a I think it's a Forza being Forza.
Curses. Well, ESV Breeze in the Ford DT, who is running third overall, can see scored Buffalo ahead. He's going to have to worry significantly about how he's going to overtake that BMW if that BMW doesn't make his own stop quickly. The battle for first in GT and the battle for third for GT both now come to a point where it's just a matter of who can set the best lap times in clean air, not actively fighting with another driver.
Okay, yeah, now we're seeing Rudels is coming in. Alright, so we're looking at, yes, scored second, but for how long right now?
Yeah, the question is just how much longer does Ford stay out on track? I hate to say it, but I don't think Ford has quite the pace to keep up with the ESV drivers, the Barcode or Breeze right now.
Yeah.
Breeze does continue to kind of eke away and tear away at Buffalo's time, and Buffalo's not closing on barcode by a significant amount either. Buffalo currently ran at 14% fuel, but the man that Buffalo is fighting, though, has been II, and PTG II is reigning
here comes Scored!
in the air right now. Oh, so
Scored.
Buffalo's in the pits now, and II
Yes.
now coming onto the back straightaway. How much will II be able to close back on in his fight for third position overall? This will promote Breeze back up into second overall. And now Breeze will have an extended period of time where he will be running by himself because your overall leader, Barcode, is on a radically different stop. Barcode went ahead and basically ran his tank empty in his first stint, trying to get as much gap between himself and the rest of the GT field as possible. Alright, so I'm watching II. He comes out of the final corner across the start-finish line, but Scored Buffalo's already rounding the pit lane exit. I think he's going to get within 3 seconds. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot closer than that, though. But the Dodge will have an advantage. The tires will already be warmed up. It's 2.8, 2.6, 2.4 seconds advantage right now. 2.3 for Buffalo. And II continues to chop away at it. Because his tires are warm and Buffalo's are not. Oh, wow, the Dodge just cuts the track right completely. Can't keep it legal there. He's within 2 seconds, but now Buffalo's tires will be warmed up. So now we'll see Buffalo start putting it together. And
all the while, Breeze is closing in on Barcode now. It's within the hundreds of feet now for the GT lead.
The Barcode made his second stop significantly earlier than we anticipated. And now the gap at the top for GT is down to less than 3 seconds, 2.5. But Barcode has had the advantage due to having the straight line speed.
Not that long.
Does Breeze have anything he can do? Try and get by Barcode. Ill Moves, again, is now held up by FCR Aspect, as Aspect blitzes by him down the back straightaway, but Ill Moves faster around the rest of the circuit. It's now at a point where Ill Moves is now not only going to have to deal with making an extra stop, he also now has to deal with this slower DPI car ahead of him that will continue to hamper him on the straightaways and entering the corners. So for Ill Moves, just frustration on top of frustration here at Road Atlanta.
Yes.
And what could have been a victory, at least the top two, has completely spiraled out of control for him. The man who really benefits out of this is actually going to be LMR Critical, obviously, because he's going to walk off with this victory. And SFM Darkster, who is going to be second overall. There's really no fight for P2 at this point, though. After Ill Moves' instant, it's all kind of been predetermined where everyone in P2 is going to be. Again, look at this. Ill Moves gets right alongside Aspect to get down that short back straight, or that short straight, but Aspect is so slow coming into the corners, and now they're both held up by a GT car going through this final corner. That's fresh Cuban bread. Ill Moves takes the inside line. He's not going to be able to out-accelerate Aspect, though. Aspect out-accelerates the GT, and now Ill Moves has to wait until almost the end of the back straightaway to get by that GT. It's just so frustrating for Ill Moves right now.
Yes, indeed.
The gap at the front in GT is at 2.2 seconds. The gap for third in GT is 2 seconds. At the moment, Scored Buffalo holds third position. Barcode holds first over Breeze. II is reigning in fourth. A-Star Rudels is a distant fifth. Rudels has completely fallen off pace after his last stop. Ludicrous Speed has pretty much stalled out in fifth position overall. Fresh Cuban Bread is a lap down in sixth. Rock Bar is 2 laps down in seventh. Coin C is 3 laps down in eighth for GT overall.
All the while, the battle between Aspect and Ilmuse have caught up to the battle for GT lead.
Barcode actually ends up pulling Ilmuse up quite a bit as they come out of the final corner. But it does look like Barcode has the advantage right now. The gap seems to maximize at 2.5 seconds, and as closest, it doesn't even come close to a second right now. So unless something really problematic occurs to the lead Ferrari, I think Barcode is not only going to win, but this stint will also extend his overall lead in this race. Yeah, coming onto that back straightaway, Barcode's lead drops to 2 seconds at his closest, and then the moment they get onto the back straightaway, Barcode just accelerates away. It's just really nothing that Breeze can do.
Yes, indeed. Pretty much, you got a car. Barcode's car is built for the straights, and then you got Breeze's car is more of like a doing well in the turns.
Incident as he started coming into the Estes, and Ilmuse is at his second major accident of the day in the exact same part of the racetrack. And once again, the car is damaged even more than it was before. And for Ilmuse, this is horrendous. This could be a nice benefit for DOR Mardog, though, who was a lap behind Ilmuse, but now Mardog will have a chance to potentially close in and maybe take this position from Ilmuse.
Man, bad luck continues to happen for Ilmuse. Man.
I didn't see exactly what sent that car around. He was about a second off of Aspect when that happened. And I don't know if he touched the outside grass like what had happened the prior time. That is what caused it or what? Wow, that car's brakes are compromised also. He ran to the back of the 4GT of ludicrous speed there. Oh, and Ford get into each other. Breeze and ludicrous speed both get into each other as they're trying to deal with Ilmuse getting the pit, and Ludicrous has to report into the pits now to repair damage after he got hit. So Ilmuse's instance now have a knock effect, and Ludicrous speed may have just lost what was looking like 6th overall in GT after he has to pit to repair damage. And now my question is, how does that affect the 4GT of Breeze? Does he have damage on his Ford?
No, his car is good. He has no significant damage on his car at the moment. But all the while, he's
actually closed on Barcode, interesting enough. Now, Barcode was held up for a moment by Ilmuse's damaged car as they came onto the back straightaway, and it took him the better part of the straight to get by. So it looks like this has worked out a bit in Breeze's favor. The gap has shrunk by about 0.4 seconds. But when looking at 2.5 seconds overall, that's not going to be enough. Breeze needs some real bad, a lot more worse fortune to happen to Barcode if he wants to take home this stint victory. In other words, Ludicrous Speed, after completing his stop, he is now kind of spoiler for this fight for 3rd overall in GT. Scored Buffalo ahead of 4GT. PTG II is behind him. So this will probably work out in Buffalo's favor because II is likely going to struggle to get by that Ford anywhere that's not one of the straightaways here. did not expect that to happen, but ludicrous speed got absolutely turned, and the car is damaged. No damage, so ludicrous being able to keep the car out of the wall has lost a bunch of time in the process after being turned by the Dodge Viper right and forth as they came into the S's.
So now pretty much only thing in the way is a P2 car separating those two of II and Scored Buffalo. It's TBR. Got safely by them.
The fight for GT lead is still in Barcode's favor. Breeze has closed the gap a little bit more, but as they come to the end of the back straightaway again, it looks like it is a 2-second advantage in Barcode's favor. Breeze closes a bunch of time down in the backstretch chicane, but then Barcode accelerates. So right now, it looks like Barcode has the overall advantage. It's likely going to walk out here with the sleep. While Breeze has definitely kept him honest, Barcode can't afford to make any mistakes. That's the thing, Barcode's really not made any mistakes thus far. And with the fact that it's GT, again, the way it works in traffic, oh wow, Breeze nicked the tire barrier there. The way that works when it comes to multi-class racing, in the higher categories, the driver in front is the one who is hurt the most by traffic, normally. But in the lower categories, it's the driver at back who is hurt most by traffic, because they have to be the most aware of someone coming up on them. The driver who is in front in a battle normally will see the person ahead have to suddenly do something really ridiculous or out of the norm, and they know that will be faster traffic, so they are able to react a lot sooner. So in this scenario, Breeze has not only the on-track position disadvantage when it comes to traffic overall, the disadvantage is also in Breeze's favor because the faster cars will catch him first and not Barcode. The only thing that would work out in Breeze's favor is if a faster car kind of denies Barcode the ideal line through multiple corners, or they get into each other and run that leading Ferrari off the track. But as you can see, as faster cars come up and start getting by these GT drivers, you can see that gap between Barcode and Breeze continues to extend bit by bit by about half of a tenth to a tenth and a half every lap, every time someone in a faster category catches them.
So pretty much at the moment, it is pretty much a stalemate between Barcode and Breeze for the GT lead. But we're looking at
GTI continues to run 2 seconds behind Scored Buffalo, and it's kind of the same thing between that Dodge Viper and the BMW for third in GT.
Yes, indeed. Oof. Ooh, scored in the grass.
Scored deep into the grass.
He keeps it going.
He saved it. Yeah, he saved it, but he has dropped the gap has now dropped from 2 seconds to 1.4. And again, I just cut the fucking grass to try to close in on that BMW.
Yes.
And it's worked. He's now down to 1.2 seconds. 1.1. So II has now taken advantage of Buffalo's mistake, and he has now closed in on that BMW just a bit. Well, it's been a very boring stint here in DPI.
It's been a mix.
A lot of excitement early on, and GT has been the star of the show by far thus far today.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, GT has been pretty much the star. So it's been overall a pretty mixed bag in terms of this stint. But obviously, we got one more stint, and then obviously, after that will be the AGRL All-Star race. But that's for, we'll worry about that when that happens.
More than likely, we're not going to be able to broadcast the AGRL All-Star race, man.
Oh, someone
Stint
else?
Stint 5 is gonna be running at the same time as the All-Star race for AGRL.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I would have absolutely broadcasted the All-Star race, but my priority is IESC first, so this will be the second out of 11 races that will miss just because of IESC commitment. So I've already talked with them, and they do have a streamer already picked out. I believe it's Apex Fuego who will be covering that. So I guess if you want to watch NASCAR action at Miami, you can check in on Apex Fuego at about 5 p.m. Eastern time. But
Yes.
Otherwise, I will be continuing to broadcast here for IESC and Sunshine League's multi-class race here at Road Atlanta. And then Tremora, I'm not going to fault you if you go one.
Yeah, I might go over there. I might end up going over there after this stint so that everybody can see that, because I did have the AGRL race in my title of my stream, so I might go over there after this one. So I will be also heading over there to the AGRL All-Star race. So it'll be me and Fuego together. But I'm glad to come on.
Just make sure that Fuego knows. Just make sure that Fuego knows that you'll be joining him then.
I will let him.
I believe it's Fuego who will be streaming. Also, one other question then. Simply because you had an alternate viewpoint of this stream, would you be willing to, I'll talk with you post-race about a little bit more, but would you be willing to save a copy of it, or let me save a copy of it and upload it onto YouTube later for historical and archiving purposes?
I mean, yeah, you can. Obviously, this will be going on for quite a while, so I will let you know when the stream is pretty much over, so that way you can go and get another one.
What you could do is you could just end this stream. Once the stint is over, end this stream, then go and rename the title of the stream to AGRL All-Star Race. And that way we
I'll call it the actual final Twitch stream part 1, and then part 2 will be AGRL and onwards.
That will work. Just something so that way we have an alternate viewpoint going forward. So.
Oh wow, I've just looked now, a new leader in GT, that being ESB Breeze.
Yeah, Barcode is made. What will likely be his final stop of the day. Breeze, how much longer does he stay out? Breeze needs.
He going in.
Nothing. Yeah, so this is Breeze only leaves for a single lap. So now the question is, Barcode, where is he going to end up in relation? Barcode's already flying down the back straightaway right now. At number 10, that's on the map, that is Breeze, who's in the pits. We're watching the Ferrari. That's number 11 on the map right now. I think Barcode's going to end up with the lead again. Yes, it's going to be Barcode. Barcode's going to hold on to this lead, mate.
We're going to see if he does. Yes, he does. He now has the lead, but it's not a big gap.
Yeah, Breeze, though, has colder tires. Barcode has warm tires. The gap, 1.2 seconds at the moment. And by the time the 4GT tires warm up, it will be in a position where Barcode has the advantage. So yeah, that was really just a change of hands at the lead for the final stop of their day. Barcode holds the advantage over Breeze. Note scored Buffalo is now 6.6 seconds out of the fight, but Buffalo also has yet to make his final stop of the day. ETG III is 38 seconds behind him. ACR Rudels is actually ahead of II at the moment, but we are expecting that Rudels still has to make one more stop as well. Fresh Cuban Red is now overall ahead of Ludicrous Speed after Ludicrous was involved in a few instances late in the stint. Ludicrous now sees Rockmar ahead as going to try and get by him, but what had been a rough stint for Ludacris has gone absolutely sour and sideways south in this final few minutes. How many minutes do we have left in the stint anyway?
I have overall 43 minutes, and that's about, let me try to think, that's about 23 minutes left.
I believe it's an hour. I believe they go an hour and 40 minutes, which is basically 100 minutes of racing. So,
yeah, pretty much.
And Ludacris making a stop now. I'll repair damage to that car again. So it's got completely bad for one of the 4 GT drivers. For the other 4 GT driver, he's running second, but has no way to fight the leading Ferrari in category. RZM Sean continues to lead. It was Garmite who had the lead early at the initial start of this race. But he lost that early on and went to Sean for overall advantage. Darkster in the P2 right behind, matching the DPI corner for corner. He was put down the straights, that's where Garmite pulls away. Still, great thing today for both Darkster, who is from 5th overall, and Elmar Critical, who's running 4th and all. They are 2nd and 1st respectively in LMP2. Critical pretty much locked up the LMP2 title last week, pretty much by starting, but he really put his knee on everyone's neck here in this category by winning that race, coming with a extra penalty as well. So, yeah, Critical, absolutely fantastic drive at VIR. It's not easy, but it was well earned to say the least. Now it looks like he's on route to winning a stint here, which will help that team significantly in the overall distance today. We're going to go ahead, because we're in such a moment of just kind of peacefulness right now. What we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and ride on board with your current leader in GT ESP barcode. Once he gets near the end, we're going to go ahead, ride silently on board for a lap with all 3 of our category leaders here. Yeah, we'll ride on board silently for barcode for a lap and see what a lap is like on board with the Ferrari here around Petit Le Mans here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, for me, I will be on board RZM Sean starting right now.
Alright, so that was a lap on board with ESV Barcode, who still holds a 2-second gap over ESV Breeze. Scored Buffalo continues to run in third in GT, but he has yet to make his stop. We're going to go ahead and rise silently on board now for a lap with Elmore Critical instead, though. No, actually, we'll do it with our race leader, RZM Sean, and see what a flying lap is like with our top driver in DPI here around Road Atlanta. Alright, so that is a lap on board with Sean, and then we also, like I said, want to go ahead and spend a lap slightly on board with Elmore Critical in the P2, so you get an idea of what a lap is like with him and the P2 category around Road Atlanta. And then after that, we'll be back to normal broadcasting here. One more lap silently.
Alright, for me at least, that is a lap with all the leaders of each category. Miss Barco continues to lead over Breeze, his ESP teammate. I just got an update from Blade saying that lobby doesn't open up for another hour and a half.
So as we come to the end of this stint, it looks like most of the fighting has pretty much calmed down right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
At the front, RZM Sean leads over Garmite by over 39 seconds at the moment, with Molzon a very distant third, another 17 plus seconds out from Garmite. Critical is fourth overall. He leads in LMP2 by nearly 30 seconds over Darkster. SCR Aspect is fourth in DPI. He has actually recovered up into sixth overall, but it's not likely he'll catch Darkster before this race is over. And LMP VR is running in the third position right now in P2, with puts him 34 seconds ahead of Ilmuz, who has had a pair of accidents today. Dor Mardog has had an absolutely atrocious race today. I don't know what has gone on, but he is more than 220 seconds off of Ilmuz's time. And mind you, Ilmuz had a pair of accidents, so I don't know what happened to Dor Mardog, but it has been outstandingly horrific for him today. He is actually farther from Ilmuz than he is from Barcode, and Barcode is in a slower category.
Yeah, everybody.
So.
Yeah, I think you can probably tell in some cases that you'll see those that are very competitive, and then you'll see some of those that are just infinite back markers that are just there, just taking all the experience and stuff like that and have fun. I think we can easily put Mardog into that category of I'm just here for and I've seen someone in the back get into the grass a little bit. That was Rockmaro, but he recovers. He's one of those in the Ferraris, not doing too well.
Yeah, it seems like for Ferrari and Ford, it's been by the feast or famine. For the ESC guys, Ferraris and Fords are running 1-2. But for the IESC regulars, Rockbar and Lucas speed has been absolutely famine for them. Lucas was early in the stint, slowly finding his way up to the field, but he's been involved in some instances now. Dropped back there with Rockbar. Right now, Barcode is 10th overall, leading in the GT category. Breeze is 2nd overall in GT, 11th overall. Scored Buffalo has finally made his pit stop, and he is 3rd in GT. He is actually ahead of PTI, so I'm sorry. Yeah, he is ahead of II. Something has happened to II that we missed, and Rudels is now actually ahead of II. So Rudels is now the driver in 4th, 20 seconds out from Buffalo. PTI in the Viper is 5th now.
Yeah, I'm convinced I'm seeing a glitch in Forza because I see he just has zeros across the board in everything, including fuel, and his tires are all red. I'm seeing it's probably a glitch on my end.
Yeah, that's a glitch I'm also seeing. So II right now is 5th overall in GT. Day has gone badly for him. Fresh Human Bread has actually recovered, although he is the lap down. He is 6th at the moment in GT. So at one point he was dead last in category. So this is the reason why you can't put your nose down, keep going, because this race has come back in his favor. Behind him is Rockmaro in that Ferrari, who has just had an incident in the S's. He is really struggling to get going now. Is there damage I don't see any damage to that car, but he had some sort of spin or something in the S's. He has gotten back going now.
Just looking.
And then 2 seconds behind him is the Ford GT of Lucas. The fight for 16th overall is going to mirror the fight for GT category lead. I think Ferrari just kind of keeps the Ford at bay, and there's nothing the Ford can do to kind of fight back. And dead last right now on track is Quincy. Quincy, kind of in that same position as our last place in P2, who is DR Mardok. Quincy just kind of out here turning laps. He is more than a lap and a half. I think he's like 2 laps behind Lucas.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's literally he's so dang far. He's another one that's like gain experience and have some fun type of driver. I put myself in that category. Although there are some times I do have moments of glory. It's one of those moments where those guys are just there, or like, just there to have fun, knowing that there's no chance of them doing any good, so they're just there having fun and gaining experience, pretty much. Unless that's been them their entire career, probably. Just be back markers, but it's a tough job being a back marker sometimes. As Barcode is now building a gap between him and Breeze right now. We got about less than 10 minutes to go, with about 9 minutes remaining.
So, just want to point this out. Look at this fight that's come back once again. A cross-category fight. SDR Aspect 7th overall. Ilmuz 8th overall. Ilmuz once again behind that DPS. This is the 3rd time it's happened. So keep an eye on the P2 category, because if any of the P2 drivers made mistakes on their fuel runs, we might see last-minute pit stops. However, with that said, leading a critical lap to 30+ second gap over Darkster, so he will hold on to the lead. Darkster has a 30-second+ gap over LMP so hold it on a second. TBR is roughly 30 seconds ahead of Ilmuz as well, so it's likely that everyone in P2 will hold on to their positions, even if they have to make a last-minute stop. The clock is ticking away. The moments that make up the dog days. So that will be roughly about 4 to 5 laps left in this event.
Oh, it's Ludicrous! Ludicrous spinning while in front of Critical.
Where did that happen at? Because I did not see any.
They were coming onto the long straight. He was just coming off of the turn before going into the long straight.
Well, the good news for Critical is they still has a 31-second gap. Aspect just got punched in by lap traffic and Il Moose. Now Aspect sails away from Il Moose, but Moose is a lot closer to Aspect this time, so it looks like now Il Moose might finally be able to start turning this back in his favor, trying to get ahead of Aspect so he can try and
he's gonna
counter
go.
the 2 accidents he's had.
Oh, that's Aspect in the grass a little bit.
A little bit. That was full on. I mean, he's honestly very lucky he didn't go.
There comes Moose!
Aspect spins, saves it. He keeps it together.
Saves it. Moose gets around him.
Il Moose.
And it's Aspect into the tire wall.
Into the tires. And the car's gonna be
lots of damage.
And last place in DPI with an accident late in the event. This will likely take him out of any good running. He is far enough ahead of DOR Marduk. He's not going to lose position to him, but still, that is going to be frustrating.
Oh.
And that happened in the closing minutes of the race as well, mind you.
Yes, because you hate to see it.
Also, in GT, the battle has closed in just a bit, but I think it's more that Barcode is just managing the gap. It's down to 1.4 seconds. Barcode likely to walk out here, bring the Ferrari another victory in the stint, and to let them just eke out a slight extension in their total distance traveled, which will be very desperately appreciated going into this final stint shortly here.
If you're watching it on my end, I will not be. It'll be solely Insane Leader covering the last stint, so go and check his stream out to watch the final stint. I might be heading over to the AGRL All-Star race, so after this stint.
I do want to say, Tremor, thank you very much for being willing to jump in and talk with us.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Today. Yeah, it's actually been really nice.
Been awesome.
There's been a lot of accidents. Normally, a lot of these multi-class races, this kind of been like, man, sometimes I wish there was another person to talk with, just because sometimes things get really boring.
Yeah.
It's not always been that way. Oh,
yeah.
It's a car
That's TVR!
That's TVR! LMP TVR has had it instead of the closing minutes of the race! And TVR, who is third overall in P2, has had next, and it was right in front of the DT category leader!
Yeah, right in front of the GT leader.
No damage, so
yeah, he just spun it. Oh, that's Aspect again.
And now TVR kind of compromises Barcode a bit, going through the corners. And that's brought Freeze closest to Barcode he's been for a while. Well, I say that, the gap's actually extended. I thought Breeze would be able to capitalize, but no, Barcode is actually still pulling on Breeze. So never mind, Barcode will walk out here with this anyway. And that's Roodles, who is 4th overall in GT, possibly might go a lap down here. Because Barcode is closing
Aspect
on it.
is just...
Yeah, Aspect is completely pulled off by... I think that's Aspect.
Yeah, he
pulled
parked
off the
it.
last corner.
Yeah, it is. I've been on him and he's parked it. He is just completely parked it now.
Well, he's far enough ahead of DOR Marduk that he doesn't have to worry about catching him and losing that position overall. But you do want to keep running because it's overall distance that matters in that in overall finishing positions. So just parking it is generally a bad idea. I understand that it's the last 8 minutes of this race, but it's not a good idea. How much time is left on the sheets right now?
We got about 3 minutes remaining. So I don't know if that is enough time for Mardog to get
No,
by
it's not.
Aspect.
Mardog is still the better part of 200 seconds behind Aspect right now.
So that's about...
Yeah, 200 seconds, that's almost 3.5 minutes, so...
Yeah, that's not... Yeah, that's...
So a little bit of excitement near the end, but in the end it looks like it will be RZM Sean and that eBay-sponsored Chevrolet DPI that will take home victory. Garmite has completely fallen off late in this event, more than a lap behind the leader. It's not something you're used to seeing, being an entire lap down in DPI. Well, actually, I take that back. In IESC, that's happened a few times. But still frustrating for Garmite, an entire lap behind Sean. And then Mulsanne is about another quarter of a lap behind as well in that Ford. So Sean in that RZM team is going to massively benefit when it comes to overall distance here.
Yes, indeed.
Again, I look at what the live timing said. It's not really live timing, but when I look at what it said for overall timing and stuff coming out of... Oh, and Sean's pitting now. Okay, never mind. So Sean waiting until the very last minute to make his final stop, I guess.
One minute remaining.
So overall, it's leading right now is actually the Ford, that they had 446.73 miles of an advantage, and then second was Sweating Muffins in the Chevrolet. That is the team that has RZM Sean in them. Sean is still going to be your leader after he comes back onto the pits, and he will be not an entire lap ahead, but he'll be the better part of a lap ahead of the Ford. So the Ford is going to maintain its overall stint distance lead, but it will go from being nearly 3 miles to probably about 1.5 miles here. In P2, it is Il Moose who was leading, but Moose having a pair of accidents, he is now laps down, and that was really close there in P2 as well. It was 428.61 for Moose's team and 428.16 for the Mugen team, and the Mugen team is the one currently leading, so I think we're going to see that massively swing in favor of the Mugen team going into the final stint. And then in GT, like I said, it's ESP Flopper in the Ferrari. It's actually going to be PTT in the Dodge. They're actually going to lose a bunch of time. They're going to fall all the way back to about 5th overall in GT, so that's really going to help hurt them. It is Polyphony Motorsport in the Ford. They were just about 2 miles out. They're going to be a little bit more than 2 miles out going into this final race. So basically for GT, it's going to be a Ferrari victory unless they somehow lose an entire lap to the Ford. In DPI, it's going to be interesting because that Ford has lost a bunch of time to the Chevrolet. And then when it comes to P2, the advantage will now go to esports by over an entire lap here. So yeah, this stint 4 has basically been the big key stint by the looks of it to decide how this race is going to end. How much time is left?
I don't know. It already passed 20 minutes. It's almost 18 and a half.
Oh, well, with that in mind, that will change one other thing, though. That means that our Mardog will now have officially overtaken FCR Aspect in overall distance.
Yes.
Then. He is still 275 seconds out from Il Moose, so he's not going to be close on that. But still, this will help the P2 effort.
Yeah, I think he might need to go into the pits because if he doesn't, the GTs are going to get by him.
That would actually absolutely be hilarious. Yeah, that's actually might happen in the very next lap because I'm looking at the timesheets right now. Barcode, they say he's only 38 seconds and he's going to overtake him. So yeah, Aspect is going to start falling behind the GT shortly here. And mind you, Aspect in that team that is DMS Esports, they are already behind all of the GTs except for 3 of them in overall distance. And of those GTs that they have already passed, those are all entries that have all pulled out at this point. It is the Chevrolet that had Brett and U5 in it, and then it's the BMW entries that had Bandit, which is pulled out apparently, and then Shredder's BMW entry, who he had to pull out due to medical issues. So yeah, Barcode now will go ahead of the DMS Esports team. Oh, someone drop out. Yes, that was Aspect. He's now officially out. So Aspect is now officially out. So yeah, at this point in this race then, we only have about... I think we only have 18 teams actually still fighting overall. So... One thing that will be a little bit frustrating is the team Shelby entry for GT. They were ranked 4th overall. They are going to absolutely be destroyed. Not doing anything that Ludacris himself has done wrong, but he's just been caught in several incidents throughout this stint, so he's not going to be able to really help them at all when it comes to closing in. In fact, they're actually going to fall off significantly, not only on the lead, but also just vying for podium position as well. They should be thankful that the IFEA BMW behind them has pulled, although he's still in the race. Buffalo, actually no, Buffalo's entry might pull ahead of the
Barcode in the grass again.
Wow. But the thing is that Barcode still has a more than 2-second advantage over Breeze, so Breeze really can't capitalize on Barcode's mistakes.
Oh, that's Mardog. He goes off into the grass.
Yeah, that's way off. Yeah, he just come to a complete stop. Everybody
stops now.
Yep, so in the end, how much time is left on that clock? Is it 10 minutes?
It was about past 15 minutes.
So it's a 45, alright, so it's an hour and 45 minutes. Got it. Alright, I thought it was an hour and 40, not 45. But in the end, RZM Sean is your category winner in DPI. In LMP2, it is LMR Critical. And then in GT, it is, unsurprisingly...
It is Barcode.
Yeah, ESP Barcode.
ESP Barcode, yep. But yeah, that's gonna, at least for me at least, he's going to continue doing Stint 5. Insane, thank you for having me. It was great to get back in the booth with you here for this race.
And I'm glad you're able to jump in and talk with us as well. Good luck being able to get into the All-Star Open and the All-Star Race for Apex NASCAR. I will continue to cover the final stint here at IESC. Before we end this stint's broadcast, I'm going to go ahead and try to talk with our top 2 finishers in each of our stints here.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this party invite. Sorry about that, everybody. So hopefully we're going to be getting we will hopefully be joining the AGRL guys here shortly. But in the meantime, I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back, everybody. Who do we got in the chat? In the final... Well, actually, I won't be right back. I'm going to end this stream real quick.